Go. Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. In a world fueled by likes, followers, subscribers, and streams, she has those in the millions. Grateful for them, but an afterthought because she would do it anyway. Her hope for the future is her driving force. She embraces each new challenge. She is fearless. Fear is just a distraction, and she has no time for distractions. She has a calling. She is in control of her destiny. She is laying down her path one brick at a time, and she's right where she wants to be. If there is any uncertainty or hesitation, it never shows. As she says, there was never a plan B. Maintaining this level of energy must feel overwhelming at times. Where does she go when she's tired? Where does she go when she needs to climb out from the pressure cooker of her carefully designed music career? How does she walk that tightrope between success and failure without looking down and wavering at those heights? For someone so driven by succeeding, what does success look like to her when it's achieved? With each success, what does she lose? With each success, what does she gain? Or are the victories in the act of doing? She's a teenage girl, but don't dare reduce her to that simple description. She's complex and talented with a wisdom beyond her years. Like any brilliant performer, she shows us just enough of her world so we get a peek behind the curtain. But she leaves us wanting more. She's a songwriter, she's a singer, a classically trained vocalist, and a multi-instrumentalist. LA Weekly, Galore, and Mundane have all named her an artist to watch in 2025. She is the 2025 Santa Barbara Teen Star winner, a two-time International Songwriting Competition winner. She took the 2023 teen category and in 2024, second place in the unsigned category. And she is a three-time semi-finalist in the ISC 2024. Earmilk describes her as pop's new Avenger. Please meet and welcome the incredibly talented, prolific, and always fascinating pop Avenger, Naomi Jane. Welcome, Naomi.
Hello, hello.
Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. You're making me sound really cool, Jeremiah.
You are very cool, and congratulations so much. Heartfelt, I mean, really, what you've achieved is just incredible, and what you continue to achieve. And off air, you told me you just got back from a family camping trip, and I am so relieved, honestly, that you took some time to yourself.
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of go, go, go. So it's really nice to be able to, be a kid, and like enjoy the
Yeah,
little things.
I hope that happens. Do you take advantage of being a kid still?
I try to as much as I can. Is it annoying to my mom when she's like, you need to make a TikTok, you need to sit down and write a song? And I'm like, I want to go out and party with my friends. Yes, it's annoying. But what else? That's the stuff I write songs about. So I need to
Yes.
experience it one way or another.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you have a really great mom. You are you're put together professionally as a music artist, one of the best I've ever seen. And this is truthful. I've probably interviewed over 1,000 big time, from big to indie artists, and your packaging of your from your bios to your artwork to your website is just really pretty incredible. So hats off to you. You're really doing a nice job.
Thank you.
Okay, so I want to read a quote that I read that I really loved I believe this is from you. It goes like this: New York City sidewalks were my first stage, my stroller, my first mic stand. Childhood meant begging my parents for every chance to perform, from brownstone stoops to the black box theaters, soaking up the discipline of classical music and the electricity of Broadway. But after years inside other people's scripts, I felt the ceiling. I wanted to tell my story. Songwriting cracked the roof wide open. So I love that. That really gives me insight into you a little bit and beautiful words. How old were you when you first felt the ceiling?
Um, Probably it was like sixth or seventh grade when I started middle school because I was always very tall for my age. And actually, when you get to a certain age, you age out of theater and film and work like that. And I just got to a point where I felt like I was just like chasing after a dream that didn't feel like my own. Like I love musical theater and I love to act, but I just felt like I connect so much with music that I was like, that's what I want to do. Like if I was in a musical, I would want the songs to be my own or the words to be my own.
Mhm.
Um and it's not just about telling like my own stories, but like using my own words to share those stories with others. I think that's so powerful and honestly a lot of fun to do.
And how many kids that age say, I feel the ceiling and I need to make it my own. I think that's pretty profound. That's
Yeah,
pretty,
yeah.
pretty profound awareness at that age for sure. And you said something else that I really liked. I'm going to quote you one more time. You said, I am lucky to have been born knowing exactly why I'm here.
Mhm.
Most of us go our entire lives trying to discover why we are here. How did you know, and at what age was that that you had that realization that you knew why you were here?
Well, my mom always tells this very funny story that the day, like right out of the womb, I was like singing in my stroller to people on the street and I was dancing. I saw the Rockettes when I was like not even a year old and I was like dancing and singing my heart out. Like it's just always I've never a lot of people have a moment when they're like that's it. That's what I want to do, but I never had that realization because it's always been a part of
It
me.
was just there.
I never questioned it, I never realized it. It was just like, "Oh, that's my thing.
Did
Like,
you
that's just
sing
what I'm meant
before
to
you
do."
talked and did you dance before you walked?
Well, I wasn't a great singer when I could barely talk. I mean, barely walk and talk, but I mean, yeah, like music was always my way of communicating with others and it still is. I find it way easier to express how I feel through music and like when I'm going through something rough, I always go to music instead of going to people because that's how I communicate and get through things. And so that's why I feel like yeah, when I was a baby, music was definitely how I communicated instead of well, I did cry a lot, but also, like, crawling and crying.
But it sounded like music to your mom's ears, I'm sure.
Yeah, very bad music.
Yeah. Um, why do you why do you believe you were called to music and not called to, let's say, architecture or you're a civil servant or a teacher? Why do you believe that you were called to this?
Um, I think there's a story that I really need to tell, and if I don't really know what it is yet, but I really I've always struggled with connecting with people, and I think that's due to moving around my whole life. I've moved back and forth from the East and the West Coast my whole life. And so I've always never really connected with people because I was like, oh, I'm just going to leave. So it's going to hurt less if I don't really make that strong
Mhm.
connection with people. And I think with music, I think what I'm meant to do is I'm supposed to not only connect with people, but help other people connect to each other in a way that I was never able to do. I think that's kind of my calling, like, I'm supposed to help people find each other through my music because I've, like it's kinda sad, but it's true, like, I've never really had my people, I've always just had my music, and so I think I'm supposed to go and help other people find their people through my music and through my stories, um, and that's very fulfilling for me, I think.
Is it fulfilling? I mean, I didn't read off your stats on social media, but it's pretty impressive. We can do that before we're done. But is that fulfilling to you when you realize that that dream that you have of music, that vision that you have, and how it's a connector for you, how it's always been there for you. Is it fulfilling to see that you are actually doing that, that you are reaching people and they're reaching back and you're connecting?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. I think in the beginning, it was always a dream I had, but I always did it for myself. And I'm a very much believer in not changing yourself for the industry and, being authentically and uniquely yourself because that's like what I've always stood for. And so I've always written music for myself, and it's so fulfilling to, post on TikTok just a song that is so authentically myself. And I'm in like my sweatpants, like I just came home from school, and just the positive feedback from my music and people are like, "I love this. Oh, I went through that too. I can connect with this. Ooh, I'm going to share this with my friend. She's going to love this." Like that is so fulfilling because it feels like I'm reaching people, but they love my music for me, for what it is, not because it's like this fake thing. So I'm not writing music to try to get people's approval or their attention. Trying to be authentically myself, and then the people who like me for me and my music for me, um, those are the people that I am forever grateful for, and that's the fulfilling thing for me.
Mm. What are your friends doing at at your same age? What are they? I mean, you are so focused on, and maybe it's not, maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe it's coming natural to you, and you're just really riding the wave and sort of blazing your path. But what are they doing at the same age? Is it Are you around peers? Do you surround yourself with peers that are as like-minded and driven, or no?
I mean, they're definitely driven in different ways. I mean, they're driven through their academics at school because they want to go to a good college, or
Hmm.
they are really into their sport, so they go to practice and they train for that. But I mean, have a lot of peers that don't understand why I'm doing this, and still to this day don't take it seriously, which is fine. Those aren't my people, but it's fine. But I don't know, I feel like in Santa Barbara, I do have my musical people and my acting people and my choir kids that I can go to creatively. But really in Santa Barbara, I kind of feel kind of on an island, like I'm doing this kind of by myself. Like I'm kind of the only 16-year-old doing this in Santa Barbara. But I mean, I go to this camp in Leavenworth in Seattle, Washington, and, all those kids there are such creatives. It's called Prodigy Camp. I know the name is kind of pretentious, but and they are all some of the most creative people, and those are my people. Like, genuinely, they're
Hmm.
as driven as I am. They have a dream, they want to achieve it, they're putting in the work. They're so unbelievably talented. So I know people that are my age trying to do this too, but I think here, like, in my everyday life, I have my best friends that support me through this. I have kids that won't understand and don't understand, probably will never until I, get big and they're like, "Oh, I knew her once." And I'm like, "Oh, now you get it." Um,
You're not on the
but
list. You're not coming
yeah,
backstage. Yeah.
yeah. So
But
that's basically it.
I think you've answered this a little bit so far in a different way, but what are your intentions as an artist? If you could elaborate on that. You know, I think you think about that. I feel like you're a very thoughtful person, and you have intentions behind your art.
Mhm.
What are some of those intentions?
I think one of them is that I feel so, so deeply. Like, when I first started writing music, I would only ever write sad ballads because I just wanted to feel something. And I mean, I would always listen to like Adele or like really sad music just so I could cry in my room and feel something because music just like makes me feel so deeply. And I think one of my intentions is how can I make other people feel the way that I feel when I listen to music, but how can I stray away from it just having to be sad all the time? Because like I want people to listen to my song and feel sad, angry, happy. Like it's so cool to make art that makes people feel a certain way. That can like impact the rest of their day. They're like, "Oh, I listened to this song. Now I'm in a good mood. Now I'm gonna go treat myself and
Yeah,
get some
that's
ice
true.
cream because I'm so happy." Like it's so impactful. Like it's so cool. Like sorry, I'm geeking out just talking about this. But
You're
I think
absolutely right,
that's
though. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, that's one of my intentions. Like I want people to feel things the way that I feel when I listen to music. Um, and then I also want my other intentions is with my music, I don't want people to feel alone while listening to it.
Mhm.
I want them to feel like I'm the girl next door going through the same things that they're going through currently or that they went through, I don't know, 20 years ago when they were my age. Like, I want to feel kind of like the people, like we're friends, like we're on a FaceTime call at midnight and we're just talking out what's going on. And so that's probably my other intention. I want people to listen to me and feel like I'm one of them instead of like just a voice on the radio, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Where do you think that that desire to do this, to fulfill those intentions, is where does that come from within you? Where does that drive come from?
That drive. I think it's a mix of a couple things. Like I said earlier, I think it comes from how I've always had this great desire to connect with people, but never had the ability to. I think that that is one way that drives me to like do this. But I also think I'm such an empath, like, I care so deeply about people, people I don't know. I was just hanging out with my boyfriend, and we were watching Instagram Reels, and this kid, like, fell off his scooter, and I was, like, so concerned for this kid I don't know because he fell off his scooter, but that's my example, like, I care so much about people, even people I don't know and I see on the internet, and so I think that's something that drives my music is that I don't know, like, I care so deeply about people, and,
That that
that's my
desire to
intention.
reach, yeah, to
Yeah,
reach
for
out.
sure.
Do you ever feel like like you've got a raw nerve, that you're so sensitive that it's almost like an open raw nerve, and your empathy that you described, that you feel so much?
Kind of, I think it definitely it's one of those things that makes it harder for me to be open with people about my music that I'm close to because, since I'm very sensitive and I feel deeply and I care so much about my music, like, I'm at the end of the day, I do care about people's opinions very strongly. I get very insecure about that sometimes. I care about what people think about my music, even though I write it for me,
Hmm.
and I look at my comments, I see hate comments, I hear what people say about me in school. Um, it's actually very interesting though. I'm more affected by what people say about me at school than any hate comment I will get on social media, if that makes any sense. I
That's
feel
just
like
that to me, that's just incomprehensible. I can't believe that you would get hate comments, or what type of things do people say? Is it just, do you think, because human nature is jealous, and that you're succeeding and that you're happy with what you're doing? Nobody wants you to really be happy.
yeah, I think
They're
it's
not
definitely
happy.
that. It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, she's doing this? Like, I'm gonna, like,
What am
make her
I
feel
doing? Yeah.
bad for, like,
Right.
succeeding and, like,
Well,
living her dream."
I'm sorry that that happens.
It's okay. It low key, it's made me very confident with my music, and it's made me more appreciative of the people who do love my music, and it also helped me figure out because like I said, I was always insecure about other people's opinions, and it definitely helped me figure out what are the opinions that matter to me and what are the opinions that I just drown out. So
Well, my introduction was heartfelt. It was the impression that I get from you, watching, listening to your music, and looking at, reading about you, looking at your success, and it doesn't come off that way. So that's great. You come off very confident, and but in my introduction, I did talk about, I posed the question, where do you go when the pressure is too much? Because you have to feel it. You're human.
Yeah.
And you're putting yourself in a very hard career. You know, it's a lot of pressure on you, and the doubts and fears have only got to be natural for you. Where do you go? How do you deal with that?
I
And
think I deal with it. Oh, sorry. You can keep
no, go
going.
ahead. No, that was
I think I deal with it in a good and a bad way. I'm gonna start with the bad way so we can end on a positive note.
Mhm.
I think my way of like getting through the pressure is I push it aside. I push the work I have to do aside and um what's the word? Procrastinate? Is that the word? Okay, yeah. I put things aside and I don't I'm like, "Oh, I'll do it later. I have time. I'll do it later." And the truth is, I don't do it later. Which it just it's kind of like self-sabotage in a way. And I'm like, "Oh, I'll go hang out with my friends." But that's the good side though. Like I have people to go to. I
Hmm.
have a life outside of my music and my career. But the thing is they're so connected that it's not like a persona, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
So, I mean, on the positive side, I have a very supportive family. My mother does everything for me, like genuinely, honestly, too much. She's too good to me, with my music, and so I mean, supports me so much when it gets hard. I have really good friends that support me when it gets hard. I live in Santa Barbara, which isn't a bad place to be. The beach
That
is
is
right
true.
there. So, and I have a Starbucks right next to my house. Not a bad place to live. Um, but yeah, when it gets hard, I do tend to push things aside and be like, I'll work on it later. And it is self-sabotage, but then I always eventually find my way out of that like wormhole and get back to doing the things I love.
It may feel that way to you, but I think that it sounds very healthy that you have these outlets and that you're able, you know, when you are going to be productive and you know when you're not there.
For
And
sure.
that's very, very healthy, I think. Uh,
Mhm.
my niece is around your age, and I've watched what, you know, you and your friends and people your age have been through. You've been through a lot in your short lives in this
Mhm.
world, and it's all you know, I guess. So maybe it's no different than when I grew up, but it feels like there's a lot of challenges that you guys have had in your short lives. And do you look, I think I know the answer. I think you're very optimistic, but maybe not. Do you look at the world and do your friends look at the world as a dark place right now, that the odds are stacked against you? Or do you guys have a more optimistic view of what's ahead and what your perspective is of the world from what you know of it? Uh,
Uh-huh.
I guess I'm asking, are you guys okay? Or are you okay? How do you look at the world? I'm interested. I'm curious.
Yeah, I think I'm a very optimistic person, but I think reality, I think we all kind of view the world as like not the best right now. It could be better, and I think a lot of young people these days are like, I want to do something to make this better. Like I want to help. Like I want our future to be bright and better in the long run. What can I do?
Hmm.
I think that is what I've seen a lot and what I also want to do, like what I've been doing here locally too. There was an arts funding discussion in Santa Barbara where they were gonna cut the music and art programs from elementary school, high schools, and like get rid of a bunch of teachers. And so me and a bunch of other students from San Marcos, all the high schools came together and we protested against that and actually got the teachers to keep their jobs. But that's an example of kids like they're so passionate about the things they love and they want not just a bright future for themselves, but for like, their kids and like their grandkids. Um, I think I think though it's also kind of encouraging to be like, "Oh, our world isn't ideal right now," because it makes you want to live every moment to the fullest.
Yeah.
Which I think is why, like, I have friends who, like, are the kindest, funniest people ever, and I'm like, "How are you so happy? Like, ho when this happened, how are you so happy?" And it's like, "Because, like, I wanna live every day to the fullest, like, I want every day to matter and be important," and I think that's what I kind of, love about my generation and kids my age is that
Yeah, I
they
like that. That's a good way to look at it.
yeah.
That is a good way to turn it around. Um, because what's the point of, I know there's a lot and it can get depressing, but you don't get anywhere that way. I know
Yeah, exactly.
you're an advocate for guns, and I'm not sure exactly how, maybe you can explain it, but it made me
Hmm.
think of another musician friend that I know, Richard Gibbs. He was in Oingo Boingo. He started, he went to the school in Florida that had the big shooting. I'm
Hmm.
forgetting the name, but so he started this thing called Harmony of Harmony. Have you heard of it?
I don't no, I think I have. I think I have.
They take guns that are donated, right? You turn in your gun, they melt it down and they make musical instruments.
Hmm.
So
That's
I thought
awesome.
about, yeah, isn't that cool? Because it helps two things that I know that you're really passionate about, the musical
Hmm.
instruments in school and defunding all that and not having the programs. But then being able to offer musical instruments out of these, make something out of something violent and turn it into something beautiful and musical.
Yeah, I love that.
Who do you take a second and tell us who you're supporting and who you're advocating for, just to get that out there?
Yeah, so my whole life, my mom is an anti-gun activist, and so her whole life she actually was a part of a group called Moms Demand Action where they did
Hmm.
protests. When I was little, I went to March for Our Lives in Washington D.C. and we had our little signs. So I would always be a part of that. They also had a branch called like Dads Demand Action and Kids Demand Action. So I was a part of that for forever. And then for actually, oh, she also has her own group called Violent Crime Survivors, which she started, which also is the same thing. And it's also, think, against domestic violence too.
Hmm.
Um, and so, when I was in 8th grade, we have something called a capstone project, which is where kids you like make a slideshow or raise money on like a GoFundMe for these causes. And me being the extra person I am, I said, I am going to host a concert in New York City with a bunch of Broadway kids to raise money for the Ethan Song Foundation. And Ethan Song was a kid that my mom actually knows their family, and I also know them, and he died from an accidental shooting with his friend. And so I produced it and emceed this all by myself. And I got a bunch of Broadway kids to sing songs of hope and change to raise money. The money from the tickets all went to the Ethan Song Foundation.
Oh, that's
um
amazing.
yeah, so that's, I mean, also I love using what I love, music, and because people will listen to music. Like, I can stand up there and talk all I want, but if I sing it at you, you're gonna listen. So
Yeah,
that's what I love. I think it's so powerful.
that's beautiful. Is there a website that you can send people to that are listening right now that could also,
Uh I
do you have
mean,
that?
I think there's the Ethan Song Foundation, there's a website for that,
Okay.
and Violent Crime Survivors, Moms Demand Action, Kids, Dads Demand Action, all that. Just search it up and you'll be able to find it.
Okay. Thank you.
Of
And
course.
thank you for the work that you do there. That's very admirable and great cause. So you have 6.7 million streams, you like my segue? 7 million video views, 150,000 followers, and more every second, 200,000 monthly listeners. What do these numbers mean to you, Naomi Jane?
I don't it's hard. I still feel like I haven't really processed, like, that's how many people are listening to me? Jeez, that's scary, but it's also so cool. Um, I don't know. I have so much love for the people that listen to my music, and that's the reward. Like, it doesn't, I know there's like the money and the publicity and the fame, but like genuinely, I think the reward is that people are listening to me and people are liking it, and that is really all that matters to me. Um, so
So
I
all
mean, it
these, yeah, go
okay, go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, I basically finished. I
Uh,
finished.
okay, I'm sorry to cut you off. So all these studies about how, I don't know, how social media is not really good for young people. It's for you, you don't look at it that way, do you? You look at most of the young people I talk to don't look at it that way. They think that it's a connector. And as a music artist, I guess you rely on somewhat on those subscribers or the people that are listening to your music. Do you feel pressure or do you see it the other way, the more positive way?
It's kind of a mix. I personally I don't like posting on TikTok. It's not like I wake up one day and I'm like, I want to post on TikTok. Usually not. Um, because I mean, as a kid, like I get sucked into my phone. Like that's the truth.
Yeah.
I think we all do. And so, sometimes I feels like with TikTok, you're kind of like feeding it videos and you feel like you could get lost in like this wormhole of like billions of videos. And you just have to kind of like cross your fingers and hope that it gets views and that the right people see it, which usually isn't the case. I have videos that have like no views and no likes, but it's like my best video I've made in months, or I
Yeah,
think that
it's
at
hard.
least. And then it just doesn't get fed to anyone, which is fine, but that's why it's kinda discouraging to be like, "Okay, am I just gonna post for only, like, a couple thousand people to see when I want millions to see?" Like,
Yeah.
it's discouraging at times, but at the end of the day, like, I most of my listeners, like, I have and most of my fans and people who watch me are through social media, and, I mean, I know too, I watch TikTok all the time, and when I see an artist I like or because 'cause I'm also I love supporting smaller artists. I'll play songs in the car to my mom and my dad, and they're like, "Who is this?" And I was like, "I don't know, some rando I found on TikTok, but they're really good." And so I think I understand, like, I'm supporting artists, like, people are gonna support me on TikTok. It's just that's the way of our world right now, and I think I've adapted to it very positively. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
you have a good outlook, I think, on it, a wise outlook. But I'm not surprised. So your new single coming up is In the Moment.
Mhm.
And how do you live in the moment when you have your eye on the future?
Um,
I'm asking you specifically.
it's definitely hard. I think especially I think the reason my music is so authentic and so myself is because I basically write it in the moment. I literally I have if I have an idea one day, I will go and put it on piano the same day. Like, um, I think it's also a song because the song is encouraging a lover or a friend or anyone to live in the moment and to appreciate the little things and all that jazz. And so I think it's almost a song I'm the person that's being encouraged to live in the moment. I think that's a cool way to look at it. Like I'm encouraging myself, "Hey, stop thinking about how this song is gonna do in 10 years or what my life is
Hmm.
gonna look like after I graduate high school," which I know that's probably a good thing to think about. But I think it's almost encouraging me like take each moment and, like, value it for what it is instead of kind of pushing it aside because you're always focused on the future, which I think for me is, like, I'm always like, "I'm not there yet," like and it kinda beats you down. It's like, "Oh, I'm not where I wanna be." Um, I'm like, "I wanna be here in 6 months," and I get to that 6 months, and I'm not where I wanted to be, and it sucks, but I all took all that time, all that 6 months for granted because I was so focused on where I wanted to be
Right,
that I
right.
didn't appreciate what I did in those 6 months. So I
You
think it's
live in the
definitely
moment.
as much yeah, exactly, live in the moment.
Is it that almost a impossible challenge, like what you described? Where do I want to be in 6 months? Where do I want to be in a year? We all do that. We look and then we measure our success by did we achieve that? And if you achieved it, you get there and you're like, what's next? So you don't you don't say, I just climbed that mountain, right? And you don't
Yeah.
spend the time looking around and saying, hey, I did this. I never thought I would get here when I was a girl with my mic stand was my stroller, look where I've come. Um, it's one of those things of human nature that is really challenging, frustrating, or mesmer. You just like how come I can't just understand feel the moment? What is
Mhm.
success like for you since you brought it up? What is what do you? will you ever be fully comfortable with where you're at, or is it just part of your nature that it's, "Look, I got to take that next step, and what's that next thing that I want to accomplish?"
I mean, I definitely have dreams. And so, like, I want to win a Grammy,
Hmm.
maybe more than one. I want to prove, I want to sell out arenas. But I think if you think about those things, they have a common goal of like selling out arenas means I'm connecting with a bunch of people and a
Yeah.
bunch of people like my music. Winning a Grammy means that people like my music. And so I think success to me is just a bunch of freaking approval from people and
Mhm.
people connecting with my music and I don't know, connecting with me because it gets to that point when you're that big of an artist that people are connecting with you as an artist, not just with the music that they're hearing. And I think that is success for me.
Do you realize that do you feel successful now? I mean, I think that you have really connected with a lot of people, obviously. Do you ever think that, I am sort of in a way, people are looking to me, um, to feel, to navigate life in a way. I mean, you've got
Mm.
a lot of responsibility too as an artist because you're putting out this great music that has really connectable lyrics and music to inspire people your age and even me, people that aren't your age. Do you feel those pressures? Do you think of that at all?
uh, I totally zoned out. One sec. I'm had a train of thought. I'm going back to it. Can you repeat the last thing you said? I'm
Yeah,
so
just
sorry.
does the pressure of the work that you're putting out as a musical artist,
Mhm.
does it ever do you ever say, wow, I've really, what I'm saying matters. I'm influencing people, I'm inspiring them, I'm helping them through a bad day. I'm
Yeah.
giving them advice through my lyrics.
I think I think currently I feel very successful for what I'm doing at my age. I'm like, I'm doing this at 16. That's crazy. But
Hmm.
I think I'm also it's kind of like when you have that like little taste of fame and that little taste of success and you're like, "Ooh, I want more." Like that tasted good. So I mean, I definitely I want to push myself to the next step. And that's also what I've been talking about with my team is like, okay, how do I reach more people? Because I've reached a lot, but how do I like get more people to notice me? Um, because I want to be bigger than Santa Barbara, and I want to be bigger than where I am at TikTok. Um, so it's a little bit hard right now, but I'm figuring it out as I go, which is a very fun thing because I feel like my listeners also get to see that I'm figuring out along the way, and that makes me more, human, which is very fun.
You've learned a lot of lessons at your age, through your life, through your travels and meeting new friends and moving around. And what would you tell your fans that you've learned about self-empowerment, or maybe how to deal with self-worth and stay resilient? What works for you?
I think my biggest advice, which I'm gonna be honest, I still struggle with today, is do not change yourself for someone else's approval. And I think I can connect with that through high school, changing how I look, who I hang out with, all that stuff for someone's approval, but also through my music. Like, I'm not gonna change how I look or the style of my music to get people to like it. I'm going to authentically be myself, and then the people who appreciate it, those are your people. And then that's the same in like real life. The people that appreciate you for how you look, how you dress, how you talk, how you act, those are your people. So that's my biggest advice because I'm like I said, I still struggle with it. Like I still change my style maybe once a week because I want cool kids to like me or I don't know. That's probably my biggest advice. Do not change yourself for someone else's approval.
Now, you just won Teen Star 2025. I mean, aren't you the cool kid
I feel
that everybody wants to be?
in that moment, I felt like the coolest kid ever.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything you want to say about that experience?
Yeah, for sure. Basically, first of all, it was tight. Like there were some very talented and all like a diverse group of kids. So it could have gone honestly any way. I'm just very lucky that I did good that day. Um, but at the end they have three finalists usually. And so they announced the three and I was not the top three and I was like, okay, well, that was it. And then they were like, psych, this year we have four finalists. And I was the fourth finalist. And I mean, even my parents told me that they had like fingers crossed, like toes crossed, like they were like shaking in their seats. But I really put my whole heart into that performance. I did two very different songs. I did The Joke by Brandy Carlisle, which is more folk and more like my authentic sound in my voice. And then I did a classical musical theater slash opera song, If I Loved You from Carousel. So switching between those two was definitely in favor with the
Yeah.
audience. Like they really enjoyed that.
Well, it showed
Um
your range, right? Yeah, I
yeah,
watched
well,
those
it's
today.
like they come out and they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, she's singing opera now? This is cool. I vote for her. She
yeah.
wins in my book." So I'm just very grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful for Joe Lambert for all the incredible things that he's doing for me. I met my current producer, Adam Zelkine, who is the mentor that year at Teen Star. We're working together on a new album together.
Hmm.
So I'm very grateful for that connection. Like I met him through it was actually really funny. We were at one of the first rehearsals where I got to pick what my songs were. And I sang my first song, The Joke by Brandon Carlisle. And he's like, "Hey, kid, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this or if your mom's gonna think this is weird, but here's my number and let's work together." And he said he doesn't do it too. He
Yeah.
was like, I want to work with this kid. Um, so I'm forever grateful for it, and it's really cool to wake up every morning and I see my little trophy, like the star, and I'm like, "I did that."
Yes.
It's one of those moments where it's like, "Oh, I'm very confident today because like
Do you
that,
think you'll
you
do
know."
more competition shows like The Voice or American Idol or anything like that? Will you go further for
Yeah, I
competition?
mean, I would love to, especially okay, so I did audition for American Idol before I did Teen Star. Um, but the thing about the competition shows is that they're because now with television, it's not like the old American Idol where anyone can audition. It's very scripted and thought through. So I would depend. I feel like I want to wait till I'm a little bit older so I don't have a lot of cards against me. I feel like this year I was just too young, that there was too much entertainment laws or something going on. Um, but I think in time I'll go back and I'll try. Maybe The
Well, you
Voice.
should. I'd say go Voice. We
Okay.
interview almost every artist on The Voice every season.
Oh,
So I've
that's so
been doing that
cool.
since 2016. Yeah, I want you on there. I want to see you.
Okay,
I
okay,
want to
okay.
interview you when you're on The Voice.
Just for
All
you,
right.
Jeremiah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, unfortunately, our time is running out here. I know you're also a filmmaker, so I had kind of a filmmaking question. Like, is your story the typical Hollywood three-act story with a happy ending, or do you think you're going to add some more acts? How do you see your story as a Hollywood movie?
Um, okay. So here's the thing. I this
I
is a
knew there
hard
was going to be a
question.
thing.
Um, I am the biggest fan of rom-coms ever. So if I was to see my life, I would have to make it a rom-com. So I would probably it's kind of like maybe The Star is Born, like that movie, but like
Yeah.
just not as sad.
A happy
Way
ending.
less sad. But I would definitely love a little bit of like a dramatic moment, like something goes wrong, but at the end of the day, there's gonna be a happy ending because we love a good happy ending.
Yes, and I want to see a happy ending for you. I think that's the only way you can go. I love your positive attitude and all your passion for your art and what you're putting out there, and thank you for that. So what's next? You've got Dissonance, May 8th,
Yes.
2026, 12 new tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I got a few new singles coming out, and then I have Dissonance, which is the album that I'm working on with the one and only Adam Zelkine, which is actually exploring a newer sound, very, very different from the stuff that I put out. It's more raw and authentic and folky, a little country, which we're exploring. Like, we're kind of blending all these different genres in because he comes from a very different background than I do. He's very country, folk, indie rock, and I'm very pop bubblegum that has a little bit of soul and country in her. And we're making some really cool things putting that together, hence why it's called Dissonance. But yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to hear
And
that.
the in the moment challenge on TikTok, what's that? Do you want to put that
Um,
there? Challenge your listeners?
the in the moment challenge. Oh my God, I've never seen the in the moment
No?
challenge.
Okay, so save your summer highs. TikTok, save your summer highs. No? Okay,
I d-
maybe I made something up. Apologize.
no,
Well,
no, no. It's probably something that I haven't seen yet, so
uh,
I'm excited to see
maybe
what this challenge is.
okay. Well, Naomi Jane, so great to talk to you. I want to give out here a little bit of information for the listener. Hailed by LA Weekly as a master class in Gen Z pop storytelling, indie Avenger Naomi Jane returns September 5th with In the Moment, a euphoric, retro-sparked R&B pop anthem engineered to slice through doom scroll fatigue and bottle every last late summer high. It's a feel good anthem about seizing youth and choosing joy now, in the moment. Invites listeners to leave yesterday's static behind and dance anywhere. Powered by mid tempo guitars, shimmering synths, and Naomi Jane's powerhouse vocals. Uh, Maybe I made this up, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Take the in the moment challenge, fueled by TikTok on Save Your Summer Highs, pre-save, and link to all streaming. I actually pre-saved today. You can
Oh
go
yay!
to ffm.to / in the moment. That's the new single, September 5th. In the moment, be out. Go straight into your playlist like I did today. Go and pre-save. I think that really helps. It's nice. Let's show Naomi Jane some love here.
Mhm.
Okay. So again, that's In the Moment, released on September 5th. And you can go to her website, naomijaneofficial.com, and you can get to all her social media there, but you can also go to straight, if you want to go straight to Instagram, go now at Naomi Jane _ official website, and TikTok again at Naomi Jane official. She's on all streaming music platforms. You can find her at Naomi Jane. I also wanted to mention your photos are just incredible, and the photographer is Matthew Patrick Donner. Wanted to point out that and give him a little credit. Naomi Jane, thank you so much. I can't wait to hear the new single when it comes out. We're actually going to play it right now. So do you want to set it up? You uh, you're giving our listeners a sneak peek to it so they can hear right now. Set it up for us before we say goodbye.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, Jeremiah. And this is a sneak peek to my new single, In the Moment. I hope you guys enjoy.
Communicate, but listen more and evolve. We'll see you next week.